What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, look, if you haven't figured it out already, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm getting kind of obsessed with Legends of Runterra. The game is so good. So we need to start doing some deck analyses on here. Now, with the nature of it being a free-to-start game, etc., what I'm not able to do right now is go and make like 20 decks and go and start playing them all a million times each. What I can do is play a bunch of decks against a bunch of decks and look at what people are talking about and start bringing you explanations of some of the most hyped decks we've got around at the moment. And one of the ones a lot of people are talking about is all to do with spiders. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this deck looks fun. And we are very much talking about Elise. Now, this is your champion of choice for this particular deck here. Elise is a 2-cost, 2-power, 3 health with Fearsome. And Fearsome is good. It says that it can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more attack. What that means is that in the early game at least, you're going to get some cheeky damage through with this, and it is a very, very low cost. Now, of course, there is a level up mechanic, as there always is with these champions. Elise levels up when you've got 3 or more other spiders. And you level up into Spider Queen Elise. You go up to 4 attack, 3 health. But other spider allies have Challenger and Fearsome, and you have Challenger and Fearsome. Challenger means you get to choose which enemy unit blocks you. So essentially you can pick one that's not going to destroy you, or you can pick one that you are going to be able to destroy, or maybe even both. It's a lot of fun. So what we really want to do in a deck like this is start swarming spiders, and we do have a couple of spiders here that we can take a little bit of a look at. So we've got Precious Pet, a 1-cost, 2 attack, 1 health spider with Fearsome. Again, the 2 attack and the fact that it can only be blocked by a power 3 or higher does mean that in the early game you're going to be able to get a little bit of damage through onto your opponent's Nexus. This is a very good thing. And then we've got Arachnoid Horror. Now this is a 2-cost with Fearsome, 3 power, 2 health, so it's basically just Precious Pet with 1 more on each of the numbers. It's alright. But where this can really start excelling is when you start mucking around with spiderlings. Now spiderlings are 1 health, 1 power, 1 cost. Spiderlings are as generic and vanilla a creature as you can possibly get. But the thing is, we're not just playing a bunch of spiderlings, we're playing a bunch of cards that get spiderlings. So Hapless Aristocrat. 1 cost, 1 attack, 1 health, but it's got Last Breath. Last Breath is an ability that comes in when you die. Summon a spiderling. So it's a 1-cost creature, or unit, I believe is the parlance of Legends of Runterra. And when it goes down, a spiderling pops up in its place. So it's a 1/1/1 unit that generates a 1/1/1 unit. That's not bad. Now, if you want to go a little bit meta here, you can actually play around with Warden's Prey, which is another 1/1/1 unit with a Last Breath ability, which brings in another Last Breath follower from any region that costs 3 or less. So you can actually use Warden's Prey, and when that goes down, it brings in Hapless Aristocrat, though you do have to play that because it creates it in hand. And when that goes down, you generate a spiderling, and the spiderling is summoned. You don't have to pay for it. That's kind of cool. But we've also got House Spider. House Spider is a 2/2/2 creature, 2 cost, 2 attack, 2 health. But when you summon a House Spider, you also summon a spiderling. So yeah, you're paying 2, but for that 2 mana that you're paying, you get a 2/2 creature and a 1/1 creature. That's kind of nice. But we've got some really nice spells in here as well. So Vile Feast is a 2-cost fast spell. Fast can be played at any time, but you have to give your opponent a chance to respond. And what you do is you drain 1 from a unit to summon a spiderling. Drain is you take 1 from an opponent's unit and then you put 1 onto your Nexus. You actually heal up your Nexus. So you get 1 health back on your Nexus, you take 1 health away from a unit, and you get a spiderling at the same time. For 2 mana, that ain't bad. We've also got Crawling Sensation. Now, Crawling Sensation is actually a 1-cost spell. If an ally died this round, you summon 2 spiderling. Now, this is slow, which means it can be cast outside of combat, and the enemy can respond. Now, this is nice, but even though it's a 1-cost, it's not actually an early game thing, because you've got to wait for something to die. But bearing in mind, if you're running around with a bunch of 1/1/1 spiderlings, they're going to go down fairly often, and when they go down, Crawling Sensation will summon 2 spiderlings in their place. Seems like a pretty fair trade-off to me. Now, the big one here is actually Blood Awakening. It is a 6 mana spell. Again, it's a slow, which is a bit awkward. But you summon 3 spiderlings, and then all your spider allies get +1 attack. So not only do you summon 3 spiderlings, but you also grant all your spider allies +1. And I believe that does include the ones you've just summoned, because it says then grant. So you're boosting all your spiders while getting 3 in for 6 mana. 6 mana for 3 spiderlings is slightly expensive, but if you've got a bunch of spiders that you can then go and boost, and remember, Elise does count as a spider here, you're getting actually pretty good value. Now, I didn't know where to put this in the video, so I'm just going to mention it now. Professor Von Yip. Professor Von Yip is a 4-cost, 2 attack, 3 health, and when you summon a 1-cost ally, you grant it +2 attack, +2 health. Now, I've just been talking about all the ways we can essentially cheat spiderlings into play without actually having to pay for them, not in a traditional sense. But now, instead of coming in as 1/1 creatures, they're going to come in as 3/3 creatures. And okay, 1/1, pretty weak, pretty bad, not impressed. But 3/3 is pretty nice. You know, if you're playing something like Brood Awakening and summoning 3/3 creatures, that's quite ridiculous. Except you're actually granting them a boost, so you're bringing in 3/4 creatures. That's kind of ridiculous. But Professor Von Yip isn't the only way we're giving buffs. We've also got Frenzied Skitterer. Now, Frenzied Skitterer is a 3-cost spider, 3 power, 3 health, with Fearsome again, as many of them do. Fearsome's really good, especially in the early game, or if you can take away your opponent's more powerful units. If they've not got many, or indeed any, 3 or more attack characters, you can just put a bunch of fearsome creatures up and just start whacking away at their Nexus. That's kind of fun. When I'm summoned, give other allied spiders +1 attack, and enemies -1 attack this round. So it only lasts for a round, but all of yours get +1 attack, all of your opponents get -1 attack. That is going to help you immensely when you actually come around to the whole you're attacking, they're blocking. It means that you're going to take down units that you otherwise wouldn't be taking down, and it means units are going to survive that would not otherwise survive, and that can absolutely swing a game. The other one we have here is Arachnoid Host, a 5-cost, 5 attack, 3 health spider. When I'm summoned, grant other spider allies +2 attack. So you can see we've got a bunch of ways of really beefing up this attack here. And it is probably quite important to note, it does not say this round, so you are just giving a +2 boost to all of your spiders. Though 5 cost for a 5/3 creature is not entirely ideal. We're generally looking for the 3 numbers to be roughly the same. To have a -2 disparity on one of them is not great. But you're giving so much buff to your other creatures, hopefully it won't matter. So essentially what we have here is a deck where we've got lots of spiders with Fearsome, who are buffing up all of their attack, and we've got lots of units that we are summoning very easily, but we're kind of swarming and losing a lot of units. So what would be lovely is if we had a bunch of cards that could take advantage of them going away, and we do. And this would be a great time to shout out lor.mobilytics.gg. It is a ridiculous site which you can use to get information about Legends of Runterra, and you can search for all the spiders. You can search for all of the cards that take advantage of deaths, etc. As long as you search for the right keywords, you'll find what you're looking for. Fresh Offerings. A free cost slow spell. If 3 or more allies have died this round, summon Vilemore. Well, Vilemore is a 6/6 fearsome creature. I told you we were looking at roughly attack and health equal to cost. Here, we are doubling them both up, and we've got fearsome. That's not bad. You need 3 or more allies to have died this round, but it is very important to note, if you're running around with lots of one-cost spiderlings, that is going to happen more often than you might think. Want something a little bit bigger? How about Ravenous Butcher? A 0-cost creature, but in order to play it, you've got to kill an ally. 0 cost, 3 power, 2 health, yes, but you've got to kill an ally to play it. So essentially, for no mana, you can swap a spiderling for a Ravenous Butcher. That is a trade I'm willing to take. Maybe one of the better ones here is actually Rasa the Sunderer. Now, it is a 7 cost, which is expensive, but we've got 7 attack, 5 health, and fearsome. And when you play it, you kill the 2 weakest enemies if an ally died this round. And again, if you're running around with a bunch of one-cost spiderlings, you're going to have allies dying pretty much every round. So now we've got a 7 attack, 5 health, fearsome unit that is immediately coming in and killing the 2 weakest creatures on my opponent's board. That is huge. But not as huge as Scuttlegeist. Now, Scuttlegeist is a 10 cost, 5 power, 5 health. Which actually does make it slightly weaker than Rasa, but shh. Now, that doesn't work, alright? 10 cost for that is way too expensive. We expect this to be a 5 cost creature, roughly. But you reduce the cost by 1 for each ally that has died this game. So a few turns in, you're going to have summoned a bunch of spiderlings are going to have died, you've got a bunch of other 1-power creatures, like Hapless Aristocrat, that you're hoping go down. And oh look, sooner rather than later, you're going to have 10 creatures that have gone down, 10 units that have died. And all of a sudden, Scuttlegeist goes from a 10/5/5 to a 0/5/5. That's pretty awesome. But probably my favourite card here is really the spell that really relies on something being killed. Glimpse Beyond. It is a fast spell, 2 cost, kill an ally to draw 2. But here we're getting into full-on combo territory. So it's a 2 cost that lets you draw 2. And draw power's not huge in this game, so that's going to help you out massively. But also, you're killing an ally. Okay, so kill a spiderling. But remember, if you've killed a spiderling, then that is going to activate Rasa the Sunderer's play skill. It doesn't say if an ally was killed by your opponent, it just says if an ally died this round. So you can play Glimpse Beyond to activate Rasa the Sunderer. And when you're drawing cards and activating powerful abilities, sounds like a win to me. Now, it's not all good, because the problem is a lot of the creatures, units that I've told you about in this video, especially the spiderlings, are pretty gosh darned weak. Yes, we've got some bigger, more powerful creatures that we're playing around with here. Rasa the Sunderer and Vilemore and things of that nature. But even Elise here is only a 2/3 at first instance and a 4/3 after leveling up. That is to say, you never really get above 3 health. And that leaves you open to especially some spell cards which can have a big impact. So something like Avalanche, a 4 cost slow spell that deals 2 to all units. Well, that's going to take out a lot of your creatures in one go, and if you are really relying on spiderlings, that can absolutely have a huge impact. How about Death Lotus, a fast spell that deals 1 to all battling units for 2 mana? Now, this can be especially devastating if you've built up a big brood of spiders, and then your opponent drops this at the start of the battle, which is a fast spell they're able to do. This will take out all of your spiders before the battle actually takes place, which is why you really want to be playing around with stuff like Professor Von Yip to make your creatures that little bit beefier, because if they're free freeze, they can survive this stuff a little bit better. Withering Whale is also one you're not going to want to see. A 5-cost fast spell. Deal 1 to all enemy units and heal your Nexus free. Not ideal. And we might as well mention Anivia while we're here as well. This is one of them their champions, and when you attack, you deal 1 to all enemies. So that is going to constantly be taking down your spiders. Again, if you're able to buff them up, you're going to be fine. And if you can have a combination of buffed up spiders and bigger creatures, this is going to be less of a thing. But it is something you need to worry about. You have been warned. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's spiders and how they can be used in Legends of Runeterra and why I'm excited. Though I have like 18 tarantulas in my house, so, well, let's just say I'm kind of all in. I like spiders. But I'd like to know if you like Elise and you like her deck, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Legends of Runeterra and other games. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get weekly bonus podcasts and all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.